Tales of the Jedi trailer has more views than the Andor trailer and the Mandalorian Season 3 trailer, and we've got some leaks to go through today. Disney has already shown some lucky people the new animated show, but they're not allowed to talk about it until after the show's dropped. For the rest of us, we have leaks. We've covered this briefly before, but today we're going to be digging in deep to have an in-depth view at what we know so far and what to expect from this show. That looks like it's going to be a smash. Some of these leaks have already been proved by their inclusion in the trailer which came out afterwards. I think the story will swap from Dooku to Ahsoka each episode, but to keep it nice and easy today, I'll just be covering one story at a time. These are the Ahsoka and Narado leaks that appeared previously but have since been removed. The story of Dooku's primarily focuses on his fall from grace, him leaving the Jedi Order and becoming Darth Sidious's apprentice, which happens around the time of A Phantom Menace. An episode in Dooku's story which features Qui-gon Jinn, voiced by Liam Neeson again, potentially is known as the Qui-gon episode, so it sounds like he'll be heavily involved for this one. The Jedi Order agree to rescue a senator's child, basically, in what could be the first Dooku episode. The senator is allegedly corrupt, and the Jedi believe undertaking this rescue mission may shed more light on the situation. After the child has been rescued, the senator gets into a fight with Dooku for some reason. The leaks didn't state if the senator was force sensitive or not, however, I think it's strange that a non-force user would choose to go one-on-one with a Jedi. There could be a bit more to that story than meets the eye. During the fight, Dooku ends up force choking the senator, and Qui-Gon tries to get him to stop, only for Dooku to force push him away. The senator's child appears before Dooku, which causes him to release his grip of the senator. It's also said there will be a Qui-Gon Jinn funeral scene in the show at some point, and that will be attended by Anakin and Obi-Wan whilst Mundi gives a speech. There will be an episode following Dooku and Mace Windu, which could be the second episode, and they're sent to investigate the mysterious death of a Jedi Master called Katari. The Jedi Knights are greeted by the townspeople of the planet. They examine the Jedi Master's body for any clues that may lead to the cause of death. Eventually it becomes clear that the locals were responsible. Dooku loses his cool at this stage and seeks out further knowledge on what transpired, perhaps with a view to taking revenge. Mace Windu wants to stick directly to the Jedi Order's instructions of retrieving the body and returning to Coruscant with it. It's said to be a very important moment in Dooku's story, which makes sense as we're seeing Dooku follow his own lead more and more as the episodes progress, rather than that of the Order's. Due to Dooku's actions with the Senator investigating a Jedi death, and potentially more that we haven't heard about yet, it leads to Mace Windu being promoted to the rank of Jedi Master, and Dooku remaining a Jedi Knight. Even though they're both very much equals with a great deal of respect for one another, this bombshell for Dooku does nothing but push him further away from the Jedi, and closer to the clutches of Sidious, who is waiting in the wings. In what seems to be Dooku's third episode, he meets up with Palpatine on Geonosis, voiced by Ian McDiarmid, which is really good, who at this point still hasn't revealed himself to the Jedi as a Sith Lord. Suspicious of Dooku's actions, Yaddle follows him to Geonosis. Yaddle was absent from the Star Wars movies after The Phantom Menace, and this is why. Dooku and Yaddle engage in a fight, Dooku gets the upper hand and Palpatine tells Dooku to kill her, which he does. It's worth noting that Yaddle, although the same species as Yoda, doesn't speak in the same way he does. She speaks normally, which could mean Grogu in The Mandalorian could speak normally once he begins to as well. Moving over now to the Ahsoka episodes. These ones seem fairly jumpy, if I'm honest with you, in terms of pacing, but that could purely be just how the information was leaked. Listen in for these ones, guys. These ones might take a little bit of work to make sense of. Episode 1, we know a young Ahsoka is taken out hunting with her mother and is taken away by a large creature. Ahsoka manages to connect with the creature using the Force and actually ends up riding back to her family on the beast's back. This part ends with the village elder saying the words, "Ahsoka is Jedi," which we saw in the trailer. Ahsoka episode 2 takes place between season 1 to 3 of the Clone Wars, and this is the one that features Anakin Skywalker, voiced by Matt Lanter once again. Anakin's training Ahsoka, pushing her hard, and after the end of what is a very long training sequence, Ahsoka obtains her second lightsaber. Now we move forward to an extended Order 66 scene, which is set after the events of season 7 of the Clone Wars. This scene lasting a good 5 minutes on its own, which is a decent amount of time for the episode, considering the lengths range between like 10 and 14 minutes per episode, I believe. Kanan is a youngling during the Ahsoka training episode, but I don't think he's a focus point at all, and the primary focus on this episode is purely about training. Ahsoka's full of it. She's showcasing her skills to the council, remarking on how easy the whole trial or whole test is. It mentions Ahsoka does attend Padme's funeral. It doesn't say anything else regarding how long the scene is for or if anything else happens, though it could just be a 2-second scene for all we know. This kind of raises the question, do you think now Luke and Ahsoka have met during the Mandalorian timeline, that Ahsoka will share her knowledge of Padme to Luke? Perhaps Luke and Leia will then go to Naboo to see their mother's final resting place in another show or a book. I think that's a pretty cool concept, good idea to be honest. Final scene shows Bail Organa speaking to Ahsoka on Naboo right after the end of season 7 of the Clone Wars. The rest of this episode, which I presume is Ahsoka's 3rd episode at this point, finishes on a planet called Rada. We see Ahsoka kill an Inquisitor that's hunting her, who I think is the 6th brother. So that's basically Ahsoka leaks, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Remember to subscribe, leave a like. May the Force be with you.